Hey, what's up? I'm Mike Squires, and this is Couch Riffs podcast, episode number 148. And my guest, MLNY Parsonz, the singing bassist of Royal Thunder. Now, this podcast is further evidence to the idea that I'm the last person to find out about everything, even when it's the coolest shit. How is this possible? How am I the last one always? There's a pretty good chance that if you're listening to this, you've heard Royal Thunder and you're familiar with them. If you're not, whew, for me. But this band is killer. Good Lord. Please go check them out. Go listen to their music and look forward to the episode that Mel's gonna sing on Couch Riffs. We got something brewing and it's killer, of course. I had such a great time talking with her. It got she sprung some stuff on me that and if you're familiar with this band and with her, then this isn't news to you. But of course, I didn't do any research because I typically don't do research on people that I don't already know, or very minimal. Like, I'll listen to their music. I try to keep this vibe as if we're meeting at a party or at a dinner party or something like that. Like when you meet someone and you're like, whoa, that was awesome. That's what I try to have these conversations emulate. And so she sprung something on me early on that I was like, oh shit, rouse. But a lot of folks, I would assume that if you're familiar with her and with the band, that you've heard some of this. But God, I had a great time. And I've really, really had a great time getting to know their music. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you to everyone who's supporting over at Patreon, patreon.com/couchriffs. That's the only place where you can get the audio downloads. There's exclusive merch and early peeks at upcoming stuff, surveys, things. I'm going to try to get it so that you guys can influence what songs I pick with certain people. But it's a tricky thing. Like I got to figure out how to work that in. But thanks to everyone that's over there supporting. If you're enjoying the podcast or the videos that we're making, the performance cover song videos, please, by all means, support us. That's what keeps this happening. Also, thank you so much to River City Guitars. River City Guitars is a radical little guitar store, vintage, used, and just sort of like cool boutique-y spot in Spokane. Go to rivercityguitars.com or follow them at River City Guitars on social media. Make sure you follow them on social because they post things up there, and before it can even make the site, it gets sold. So the one thing I want to say about River City Guitars, every day is a buying day. Every single day is a buying day. So if you've got something that you're sitting on collecting dust, give them a call. Give Bobby a call. 509-818-7693. Tell him Squires sent you. We're tight. Love Bobby. And he's going to treat you right. He'll give you a very fair price, or drop them an email, sales.rivercityguitars@gmail.com. Include a picture of what you're trying to sell, and they'll take good care of you. Now, without further ado, don't forget the golden rule. Treat people the way you want them to treat you. It's not that hard, but not that many people do it. And last but not least, try your best to not be an asshole. Just don't do it. Oh, outside. Can you hear me? You can hear me.
Hear me? Can you hear me? Cool.
It's a fucking miracle every time.
I'm the dinosaur that has the earbuds that are attached.
You know what? They are consistent. They never die. The battery never dies on those things, right?
Yeah. Got that going for me.
Which is nice. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good, man. How are you?
Yeah, fine. You know, Saturday morning. You're outside. That's so sweet. Do you live
Oh,
out
yeah.
in the woods?
No, I don't. I live in a really wooded area. It's a little neighborhood. I got my Lord of the Rings little hoodie on that my mom got me years ago. Feels good out here.
Your Smeagol Snuggie.
Yes. Yeah. It's my Schmeagol.
Who wore a cloak in that Gandalf Snuggie?
Who wore it best is the question. They all had cloaks.
It's funny. I was scrolling through. I was like, what am I going to watch last night? I don't watch very many movies, but we have like a projection screen. And those movies came up and I was like, oh man, I would, but it's like, it's 9 and those things are 3 hours long. I'm old. I'm not trying to be up until midnight.
Yeah. You might turn into a pumpkin.
I might, or a gremlin.
What about the Gremlins where remember when they were at the bar and they're just like losing their shit? That one scene, like
destroying everything.
Yeah, I've totally done that at a bar before.
Pretty sure I have too, but those days, I had to retire.
Yeah, like a week ago.
So, I have to admit, like I didn't know, because I'm old and out of touch. I didn't know your band before JP and Kyle were, suggested bringing you in and we won't talk about the song we're working on because it's a sneaky secret. It's a sneakret. But I was like, oh, I don't know. I'll check that out. And I've been listening to it now.
You froze in time.
Oh, did I? Let me see if I can get on. I'm gonna. This happens every time. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. We should be better now. It's now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Right, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
This should be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been listening to your band nonstop this week, and I can't believe what I've been missing out on.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Well, yeah, no, it's great. And your voice is insane. Do you have a doggy there with you?
Yeah, he's doing his morning poop here. One of our pups.
Oh, good.
The old man.
Oh, what kind of dogs do you have?
I just rescued a Pit Boston Terrier mix, and we got 2 cats. Look at this ham, dude. Wait, can you see it? Yeah, he's just freaking out, rolling around. We have a couple of rescues. Yeah. Me.
Were you in bands before this?
I was. So I'm 40 and I've been playing since I was probably like 12 or 13. And the first band I was ever in was because I saw Nirvana playing. I'm like, dude, that's what I want to do with my life. I was like 12 or 13, well, probably 13. So we started this band in like 6th or 7th grade called Conniption Fit.
Nice.
And it was horrible, but it was good in our minds, I guess, and good for us. Then I did so that was just like kind of noisy, no direction whatsoever. And then I got into the underground metal scene doing like grindcore and just doing vocals, like screaming vocals. Just grew up doing that. And then I was in this band called Acedio that was pretty much like we just wanted to be Skid Row. That was pretty cool.
Rad.
Yeah. We just did talent shows and stuff like that, so it was nothing serious. And
this is your 3rd band. Are you still a teenager, or are you in your 20s at this point? Yeah.
No, still in high school. I was in high school for that. And I was in several other band. Oh, Malform, that was like a grindcore band. But I was in several other bands, and then I went through this weird. And I hate to focus on it or have it be something that like our band's about or that I'm about. But I went through this weird Christian cult moment of my life and quit playing music altogether, and then was forced into playing. I was forced into becoming a worship leader where I had a little acoustic guitar and would sing, and I didn't want to fucking do it, and I was terrified. And somehow, going back and looking at that, I learned how to disconnect, I guess, while playing, and I found myself in that. I found like a zone and another place to go to, and then very long story short, got out of that cult and immediately was like, fuck you, fuck all that stuff. I'm balls to the wall going for it. And the first and only band after that was Royal Thunder. And it was just kind of our like our way to break free from all that and just do whatever the fuck we want to do. But yeah, so it's kind of a weird journey in life, but
That is a fucking hell of a journey.
yeah, it was a wild ride being in that cult. But I learned a lot. It robbed me of a lot of years, but I made up for it in a short amount of time and chilled out a little bit.
How long do you mind if I ask you some questions about that?
Yeah.
How long was that period of your life?
I was in high school, and I remember my friends thought I lost my mind. They're like, what happened to you, Mel? Like, you were a metalhead. Like, this was, it was just a totally different person that I became, because I thought, oh, this will help my life. This will
Right.
make things better and easier. And so I jumped in, and it lasted about 8 years.
8.
Yeah, I know. It's a long time, puppy. But yeah, it lasted about 8 years, and I had a bunch of wild experiences, not so good, and was like, all right, I'm out. And they were like, no, we need you. Okay, you can leave for like one Sunday, but then come back. I'm like, no, like I'm out. And they didn't want me to go, so eventually I just had to just like pretend like I was coming back, and that was the way. I never came back.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I was born in Toms River, New Jersey, South Jersey, and lived in Barnegat for a long time. And then grew up, as in growing up like 5th grade on Marietta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And then in my early 20s moved to Decatur, so into the city and closer to music and art and food and all the good shit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And this 8-year period was there in Decatur?
No, it was in Marietta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have a very strange relationship with religion, and I think that people who are embedded into long-standing religions, like the three towers, the three big ones, right? They look at like the newer religions, or the ones that are like 100 years old or 200, and they're like, what a bunch of horse shit. Listen to what they talk about. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, take it easy.
yeah. It's funny.
These stories, I think that, these stories that we hear that are the stories in the Bible are crazy.
Yeah.
They're fucking insane.
They are.
Uh, it's yeah. So it always blows my mind when I mean, I'm never surprised when I hear about some new whatever, you know.
Yeah. To each his own, you know.
That's what I
Fuck it.
think. I understand that there's some okay. There's great things about religion. People, we all need to have something to do to feel good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Well,
doesn't
I
sound like
guess.
you are feeling great.
Yeah. Uh, Sammy, what's up? He's sending out smoke signals to his dad, my roommate. Um, yeah. Sorry if I'm being weird. I just I'm surrounded by so many animals right now. So I'm so easily distracted. I was like, I'll just come outside so I can just chill and focus. But yeah.
My dogs typically make an appearance in every podcast, but I have my door closed so they can't come out here.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy. Um, when you, I mean, that's an immersive community.
Yeah.
And so, after 8 years, did you did you stroll away and plug yourself back into your old community? Did you have a family system that you could walk back to?
No, just started over and then kept running into other people who made the same moves that I did and
Right.
rebuilt, reconnected, and it never really felt weird. It felt real. Um, to reconnect with those people on a different level, on a real level. And also, the crazy part is just like not realizing how depressed I was for those 8 years of my life, you know? Like, I just kind of woke up one day and just didn't. I went and stayed somewhere and with these other people that were going to this church that, are my family now. But I went and stayed there and didn't really tell my parents what I was doing or where I was going, and which was pretty typical of me as a kid, not showing up after school for like 3 days or whatever. Fear of confrontation, I suppose. But I would just stay with them and just never show up anymore. And just that place started alienating me from my family. And I'll never forget one church service. I was sitting in there and my dad just bust through the doors, and he was just he had this like presence, just a strong man, very manly man, and he was crying, and he just interrupted the sermon and was like, Melanie, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? Where are you? Come home, please come home. And I was like, I can't, Dad, I can't. Just please go. And I was like, I don't want to come home. I need to do this. And of course I did go home sometimes, but he really wanted me to just, and being a Christian, he was a Christian, just didn't want me there and saw something in it that I didn't see at the time. But it's an awkward thing to talk about because I've put it so far behind me, but sometimes I catch it being relevant now in my life, and I'll see little things like behaviors or guilt, or
Okay.
little fears and stuff. I'll see hints of it still there. I'm like, man, I was indoctrinated and fed all these ideas of how to live my life, and uh, I don't know. Maybe you never shed some of that stuff, learn to work with it.
I think being a good person is being a good person.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I know that some people need hard rules, but we all know the difference between wrong and right,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's a lot of gray
Yeah.
area in a
Yeah.
lot of situations, but
Gotta try. Do your best, figure it out.
damn, I mean, yeah, that's crazy. Sorry we spent so much time on that, but that it was
No, it's okay.
it's interesting.
Yeah. Living.
Yeah, I think, My uncle, uh, one of his daughters, one of my cousins in Spokane, started attending like a mega church.
Spokane, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that church was based out of.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
They
I'm
had
I'm I'm from Seattle, and there was a lot of shit in Seattle. And that's where I met a lot of young, you know, I don't know, I guess it's just Christians, but it was like a different brand of Christian.
mhm.
There was that uh Mars Hill, and it's disbanded now, but I think uh I think the guy got in a bunch of trouble. He was like flying helicopters around and shit,
What?
just like same.
Around the church?
It just from like his different churches. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Mhm.
he was flying around inside the church.
Sermon from a helicopter.
But that was the first time I ever heard. I worked with a couple people that went to church there, and that was the first time that I ever heard anyone say that dinosaur fossils weren't real. That they
And
weren't. That
the
they
earth
weren't.
is flat.
Well, they said that that Satan put dinosaur bones in the earth to tempt the faith of Christians. And I was like, I mean, that seems like a real long play. I mean, he could have put something up on top of the ground, like, don't you think that would make better sense? And but she didn't really want to hear it.
That's like a Rumpelstiltskin story or some shit. It's kind of cute.
No, yeah, it's a cute story. So your
Excuse me.
relationship with music during this whole time, you're just strumming the guitar and leading worship songs essentially.
And trained to, I remember being told at one point, don't ever be the best you can be while you're playing because you could distract people from the Lord. So always pull back and don't do anything crazy because it'll mess somebody's experience up, somebody's communion with God. I think that's why if I have the chance and if I can, I just give it everything I fucking have because I don't know how to hold back anymore. For so long I did.
Tell me about the first time you played music and performed music where you were on the other side of that experience, where you felt like you were not restraining yourself whatsoever. You must have felt closer to God at that moment than ever before.
Yeah. It's a good question. I can't recall a time before that. I think I just did it before that. And that was a different experience. That was just like, teen angst, like, I'm just gonna fucking do whatever I want. I'm just crazy. But I think with Royal Thunder, I remember I wasn't in Royal Thunder for a while, about a year. It was instrumental, but I was in the house all the time listening to them play. And then Josh came into the room one day and was like, "Get out here. You're gonna sing and play bass in our band." I was like, "No, no, 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 no." He's like, "Come on, we need somebody. You're the only person that can do it." So um
That was a great choice that he made right then to force you out.
yeah. I was pretty scared, and there was a kitchen wall between the living room and the kitchen, and I went in there with the bass and vocals, and um I always feel so boring telling this story because I've told it before, but I haven't told you the story. So,
Yeah, I never heard it.
but I started singing and playing, and I just heard laughter, and I was like, "Great, great! This is what I get for being vulnerable." And I come out and I'm like, what is so funny? And they're like, no, we're laughing because it's perfect. Like, this is what we need. And I listened to those tapes because that was kind of the first time I'd ever played music outside of that setting being church stuff. And my voice was so small and like safe. Um, but I was free for the first time. But I was like, it was like me coming out into this new world, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is weird. Like everything's okay. I can do whatever I want, but who am I here? And like hearing the little handheld recordings of that, the little tape recorder thing.
Yeah.
Hearing that shit just so weird to me. Like it makes me smile. I feel like it's like my little kid self. I'm like, oh, that's so cute and safe.
how
But I
how many years since that experience? Since you put the bass on and sang on that recording?
was like probably 2005, 4 or 5. Yeah, so it's been a while. I hate to do the math on that shit because I'm like, whoa, whoa.
No, every once in a while I'm like, I see something, you get those things in social media that's like, here's something that happened in 2012. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that was just a couple years ago. It's fucking 9 years ago at this point.
Yeah. I'll be watching Top Chef and it's like, and you get to be part of the 2008. And I'm like, whoa, 2008. This was so long ago. But,
so when you were playing in grindcore bands and in your Skid Row band, were you singing, or were you also playing guitar or bass then?
No, I pretty much never really sang. I was always just screaming, always doing like grindcore and death metal vocals and stuff like that. I forgot about this band, and I don't know how it did, 'cause it was a huge part of my life. Josh and I in Royal Thunder were in a band called, what was it? Oh, it'll come to me. I forget. It was death metal though, and that was the first time I picked up the bass. And there was a guy in the band, our friend Blaze, and Blaze was like, he'd get so mad at me, and I'd be like, all right, he's like, put your finger on that string in that box. Now put your finger here, and he would just, and then before I know it, I'm just like playing. He's like, play faster, 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 and then I just started playing metal. And what was that band called? The Souls Unrest.
That's a great death metal band name.
Yeah. We were a Christian death metal band with a Satanist drummer who wore a tactical assault vest with no shirt on underneath and no eyebrows, and like Anton LaVey worshiper. Such an awesome dude. And the Christian scene flipped their shit when they found out about that. Like, you just say this? Yeah. That was before the goodbye. But yeah, just that's where I learned how to play bass. Yeah, and I grew up playing guitar and piano, and I think they're kind of all similar, in a way. Piano was my first thing.
Was your household musical?
No, my mother, she's from Spain. Her mother, to this day, my abuela's dream is to be a nun. And crazy story, she's an amazing singer, and was always in the choir and stuff. So that was kind of my first exposure to family being into music. But she wanted to be a nun, and there's a neat story about her getting pregnant with my mother and wearing like a girdle or like a corset to hide it, because she thought it would ruin her chances of being able to be in the choir. And my mom's really, really tiny, and I always joke with her. I'm like, it's because she squished you in there for a while. But so she ended up having to take it off and, obviously reveal that. So she never did take that path, but still stayed in the choir and loved it, and has like this soprano voice. It's just, it could break glass. It's like, it's beautiful. But other than that, my dad's brothers were very musical. He had like two brothers. One was a drummer and one was a singer-songwriter. Actually, my cousins too. My two cousins. I guess there was a little bit of music in there, but
Is that
it was always
how you sort of got inspired, or it was just straight up the Nirvana thing? That was it.
yes. It's all Kurt Cobain's fault. Yeah, that was the first time I'd ever seen, besides Ozzy, that was the first time I'd ever seen somebody just do something. I was like, I don't understand. What is this? This is so free and wild.
Especially when you saw them perform live. Like if you saw them on MTV and like, it was a live performance, it came at a time when everything was so clean, and even like heavy metal music was like really well produced and technical. And they came along, and that rhythm section was amazing, and then he was just out front like a raw nerve.
Yeah, it really spoke to me big time. I can only hope that that our band does that for some little kids somewhere, just like, be yourself. You can do whatever the fuck you want, and just to see the music that comes out of that.
Yeah. Do you go and hang out at the merch booth after you play?
It depends on. Sometimes I get in trouble if I do that. When I was drinking more, it was always a bad idea for me to go over there, because I'm just, I'm really quiet right now. It's like the house is still everybody's still kind of asleep, so it's hard to be like a quiet person right now. But normally I'm just like, and I end up, we figured it out. It's like, Mel, you're not losing your voice because of singing all night. You're losing your voice because you won't shut the fuck up. Like, you just talk to everybody. But I do love hanging out in the merch booth, because you get to like see people that have been coming to your shows for a while and kind of growing together and having these like little mini families everywhere. And I think it's it means something, it's special when you love music and you get to hang out and like get to know the band and feel the vibe. It can kill it,
Sure.
or it could be a good thing. I remember meeting Megadeth. Oh God, so embarrassing. I blew it. Do you want to hear that?
I do want to, yeah.
I was at Guitar Center, and I'm standing in line. I'm like, oh shit, there they are. So I had this the biker jacket that I still have to this day, that I got when I was a teenager. But in my pocket, I had an Yngwie Malmsteen tape, and I got up to it with Dave Ellison, right? So I get up there, and he's the first one. I'm like, it's like, all right, what do you want me to sign? I'm like, oh man, let me see if I got something. I was like, oh, all I have is this Yngwie Malmsteen tape, because I wanted him to think I was so cool. Like, that's all I have. Do you mind if I just my phone's doing weird things. Like, you mind if you just sign this, dude? And he's like, are you kidding me? And he looks around, he grabs a flyer, and he signs it. He's like, take this, kid. And it went down the line. I was like, oh man, I blew it. But I just remember as I was walking away, Marty Friedman was just in the middle of the store playing this sick, like, happy solo, and like, bye Megadeth.
That was a while ago. That was like early 90s then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember, kick my old brain into running when Friedman was in the band. Like that was a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
I always I have this tendency, like after performing, after a show, I'm always like, unless I have a tendency I want to hide for a while, like drink some water, look around. Like I don't drink anymore, and so you know, if I stay with that and I just stay hidden away, I'll like not go into a state of depression, but I'll definitely come down pretty hard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if I force myself out into talking to people, I can prevent all of that, and it's great. And
Yeah.
do you, what is it like? Well, like, what is your vibe after you play?
I feel pretty like I've let me help this old man up the stairs. He can't walk that well. You can go, buddy. I feel very centered and like free. Like I've always called it like soul vomit.
Right.
So I feel very like electric, but at the same time I'm like at peace and very open and cleansed for the most part, unless I don't feel good, which I guess that's anybody. Because I do get worn down, you know, as you know, being on
Right.
the road, you can get doesn't always feel good, and it could
Got
come
a
off.
hard job in the band as well. Like being the singer in a band is a lot more responsibility than being any other person.
Yeah, it can it can wear you down, but you know, I really can't fucking complain because it's too much fun. It's too awesome.
Yeah. Do you beat yourself up if you don't have like a perfect show, or are you an in the moment kind of person where you're like, well, that happened and that wasn't perfect, but who fucking cares?
Uh, I used to be so hard on myself. Um, I I didn't realize it when we first started. I was doing vocal exercises instead of warm ups before we'd play, and I was like burning my voice out all the time, and it was always so you know when I was losing my voice a lot because I was singing and you know we were tuned to a different key and all that. It just my voice took a beating, and we were hitting the road for 9 months out of the year, and I didn't really know what I was doing. You know, I just kind of grew up raw dog. But so I would beat myself up pretty bad if I couldn't do it, and something just happened one day where I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just not gonna warm up. I'll do a couple of, like lip trill things, like literally as I'm plugging my bass in." And I'm just not gonna worry. I'm not gonna give a fuck. I'm just gonna put my heart into it and do the song the way the song's supposed to be done. And as long as it's real, I'm satisfied if the experience is an honest one. And if I don't connect, that's the only time I'm ever like, oh, what was that? You know, but it could be something on my mind. I was, you know, not feeling good or whatever. It could be anything, but um I don't beat myself up anymore, but I sure as shit did for years. A lot of years. Um Put a lot of pressure on myself that nobody else was putting on me, you know.
Well, I think that probably coming from a metal background, there's a lot of precision in metal, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that that influenced your desire to achieve perfection in your performance? Because the
No,
far cry
cuz
from
I
Nirvana,
yeah,
right?
I was always on the opposite end of that. I was always like, fuck precision. Just do it. And I'll tell you what, our drummer that we play with now, you know, he left for a while and came back. He used to we there were definitely like bottles flying at each other and crying and screaming over like timing issues. Me being like, we're organic, man. Like, no, there's a thing called timing and you suck at it. And like, you hurt my feelings. oh, how could you say that about, like, just full on wars that I understand now were necessary discussions. Like, it's a pretty big deal to at least be like kind of close to being in time, especially when your drummer's that good. Evan's just fucking, he's just like a machine,
Have you
but he
talked
works
to him in
hard.
the last week?
Yeah, yeah, I
He
have.
just
I talk to him like every day,
he just
and
tracked drums for a song.
yeah,
I'm
I saw
stoked.
he sent me some, or sent us some footage, and it's my favorite because his hair's all grown out like fucking uh, quarantine hair, and it's just like a whole solid minute of just weird Evan being like, you can't hear any music, and he's like, that is you right there, screenshot, just goofy dude, but such a hard worker. And both him and Josh, I'm the one who's probably not the hardest worker. It's not how I wanted to say it, but they push me big time.
It's good to have that kind of relationship in a band. I think if everyone
Mhm.
is, you have to you have to motivate each other. And I'm sure that, you know, whether you recognize it or not, there are things that you do that motivate them.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely, the three of us just have, I don't know, we've always had some sort of like weird, not like just like this weird magic together. We've always had this connection and like unspoken, I don't know, just way of doing things. We don't really talk about it. We just do it. And
Have you guys been able
yeah.
to write and or record this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh, just sending stuff back and forth, which is kind of weird,
right.
but it's working. Writing a new album, like Josh is about to send some demos over for the new album. Um, yeah, it's just strange times. Strange times.
The last year, 2020 was just sort of yeah, it was a weird one. It
But
was
it's
really
not
hard
like,
for a lot of people.
yeah, it was like, I remember in the beginning being like, hell yeah, uh, we don't really have to work, or our work got weird. And now it's like, uh, I don't know. I thought it was just going to be like, all right, it's a couple months. Let's just kick back and we'd, sit on the porch and drink beers, or like I'm looking at a chair on the roof right now from where we just sit there and like on the roof and just shoot guns and hang out and then get suntans and
Wait a minute, you can
just,
shoot a gun off your roof?
oh no, BB guns. Yeah. No, yeah, no.
You
I
d
could shoot a gun off my roof with my Civil War gun and get the gunpowder in there. Give me 30 minutes. Yeah, I could shoot that shit. But yeah, I just remember thinking like, oh, this is temporary, whatever, big deal. And then it kept happening, and like, oh shit, we're stuck. Like, this is bad. This is bad news. It just, I regret wasting so much damn time, but I just didn't. I guess none of us really knew what to expect, so it was easy to just fuck it up, not really do anything, not take care of yourself, just kind of get fat and lazy and weird and in your head.
I mean, I did
But
all of the things, like, because had to get a second job at one point. I was working like two full-time jobs. It was bullshit. It was really hard.
yeah, especially for musicians, yeah. But I mean, when you're already a broke musician, it was kind of like, ah, whatever.
Right.
Like,
Like, what are you gonna do? Make
yeah,
me more broke?
yeah.
You
So let's
know?
make some t-shirts, sell some merch, y'all.
Uh, you have a day gig that you keep?
Yeah, I did uh construction for about a year. I recently quit. I'd done it before and I went back to it, doing a HVAC installation, like hanging hoods in restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um so I did that for a long time. It just wore down my body and stressed me out, and it was a I was trying to figure it out, and like I wanted to weld and, you know, get more into that field and eventually join the union. And I thought that was the path to take to get there. And then I was like, I'm not happy. Just not happy. So I went back to my cooking job that I do now at night. And I love cooking, and it's a great work environment, and it's with friends, and I'm really happy. And they also support music and people that tour. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
able to
great.
just hit the road and come back and have a job. You know, I've always tried to work my ass off anywhere I work just to be able to come back, you know.
Are you a get home from tour and go back to work the next day person?
Hmm.
Yeah, me too. I grew up poor.
Yeah.
I grew up on food stamps and, you know, so
Sur-
I'm
survival mode.
yeah. I don't I can't not see what, when I'm going to have money coming in next. Even if I'm okay,
Hmm.
I just am like, yeah. There's something about
Yeah.
grown up poor, grown up a food bank kid that won't allow you to just be like, oh, everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah. I don't do well when I just sit around. I grew up with a family that just worked. It was like, get your ass up, work, move, do something.
What did your dad
Not,
do? Is your dad still around?
he is not.
He's
He
not.
passed
All right.
away about 4 years ago. Um, yeah, he was an engineer, a mechanical engineer. Really, really smart guy.
Yeah.
Um, that he traveled the world. He went everywhere, and uh oh,
Did he meet your mom while he was traveling? You said your
he
mom.
was he was in the Coast Guard, based in Spain, and he met my mom at a discotheque.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "She's a babe, and she's a babe," and he got his friend to write her letters, these like beautiful love letters in Spanish without knowing a word of Spanish. So she was like, "Oh, he speaks my language," and he just snatched her up. She was 18. He was like, come to America, be my wife."
And
And
she did not speak English.
not, I remember her in the cupboards when I was in high school, and she would just be up late at night, just reading ingredients on like packages of food and just trying. And I one time I found this folder. I guess she was secretly going to the local like tech school and learning English. I don't know when she found the time to do that. She's kind of superwoman. So I've never even seen my mom go to the bathroom, but she's she's a mystery. Um, but yeah, she didn't speak any English, very, very, very little in high school. And all like, she was the mom that when my friends would come over and be like, dude, what did she just say? And it's still kind of like that. It's gotten better, but as she's getting older, her accent's getting a little thicker again. But yeah, she's pretty awesome.
That's amazing. Have you guys traveled into Europe on tour?
Yeah.
So you take the point when you guys hit Spain then.
Yeah, we played as Kenna Rock Fest,
Oh yeah,
and
that's a great one.
yeah, John Bonamassa was there, and like Wolfmother and Blondie, and I can't remember who else, but pretty fucking cool festival. But it's 7 hours south of where my family in Spain lives because they live right on the northern coast. And my uncle just traveled with my Colombian aunt, and they came down, and it was this huge festival, and we're just like, Dio Chemo, Melanie, just like screaming, and everyone's like, he's over there. There's a guy over there screaming your name. And finally found each other, just cried for the longest time and got to see him. That was pretty awesome. But we like literally flew in Spain, drove to France the next day, and then flew out the next day.
Right.
Like crazy. 2 days in Europe. It's wild.
Really? Oh, you guys
Yeah.
went there just for the festival.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it. That's a good one.
Yeah. That was really cool. And then the other one was Hellfest, obviously, France.
That's a killer. Oh, so they were back to back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hellfest is so good.
Yeah, it is.
How many stages? I mean, I think there were 4 stages the year we played.
Hellfest?
Yeah.
Ooh. Maybe there were just a
2
lot of
big ones
people
side
and
by side, and then 2 or 3 tents.
huh.
Ozzy headlined the year that I was there. It was crazy. I mean, I wish
Wow.
it was Sabbath, but the Ozzy, it was Gus playing guitar, and he was fucking great.
Nice.
I mean, Ozzy doesn't really have any slacker guitar players, right?
Yeah. Doesn't he just steal everybody's guitar players?
Pretty
He's
much,
like,
I think so.
you're pretty good. Come with me. Who doesn't want to fucking play with Ozzy?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Ozzy, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
If you
Forgiven.
are. Huh?
Forgiven. You're
Yeah.
Ozzy.
What's your guys' plans to actually record?
We were thinking this summer. As far as releasing an album, maybe end of this year, or maybe summer of next year, spring or summer. It kind of depends on how shit goes, you know?
Right. So you guys don't all live in the same area.
No, we did. Josh and I live pretty close. We're like 15 minutes away from each other. And Evan used to live here, but he recently moved to North Carolina during the pandemic. So, and he's got a sweet, you know, lots of land and a house and he's built a little studio every day. And
Well, that's great.
yeah, so hoping to see that dude soon when it's safe enough.
What's the vibe in where you're at? What's the vibe there?
Oh, very open, very liberal, very gay, very artsy. You know, music, food, bars. It's just a lot of love, a lot of everyone knows each other. It's really amazing. It's a good spot. I
It's
like being
great
here.
because those aren't really things that people think of when they think of Georgia.
Mm-mm. No, not where we live.
Right.
Everyone, yeah,
There's a big year for Georgia.
we're the ones flipping the Senate. You know, that's what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
that's the people here. You get north of here, it's a little, you know.
Sure. No, I mean, I live out in farmland and, up in the Hudson Valley, just south of Albany. And so, yeah, I'm, most of my immediate neighbors are all really cool folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a volunteer firefighter in this little town, and
Cool.
I'm definitely politically I'm a minority there, if you can imagine that.
Yeah. I bet.
But I'm not completely, I'm not an island there. So that feels good.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time in the country. I just wish, obviously I'm not smart enough to fix shit. All I can do is try to make good choices and treat people the way I want to be treated.
Yeah. Well, what else could you do?
It's not that hard, is it?
No, I don't think so. It's like I always say, I'm real cool until I'm not cool. You know, when people act like assholes, you kind of deserve it, but it's not that hard. You really don't have to. I don't know. You don't have to be that way.
No. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I don't want to get too far into politics.
Yeah, probably better for both of us.
The one thing about all of it is that there's so much information out in the world now, right? Like we are up to our fucking necks in the information age.
Yeah.
And the problem is there's a lot of bullshit information. and people will always find the information that they want to find,
Yeah,
right?
they'll back themselves up
Well,
for sure.
that's a thing that has been with us since the fucking dawn of time. People hear what they want to hear, right?
Yeah,
If you want to believe that the earth is flat and we've been fed a line of horse shit for, eons, uh then you'll find a way to convince yourself through, various whatever, all the information that's out there, that it's true.
yeah, I like that stuff.
No, I love to read about it.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, really? There's a there's a movement behind it. Okay. Okay.
It's do you meet people out there where you're like in your town? Have you met folks that are deep down conspiracy?
Oh, only when people get like mega coked up and drunk, then it comes out. It's like, you're like fifth self or whatever. I'm like, dude, please stop. Please. You're not serious. No, fucking look it up. Britney Spears. There's like four of her. Four levels. She's like a dream. I don't know. But that was the last one I heard when somebody was just like ripped. Like, whoa, that's
They said that there were
please.
4 of her.
It's like this
This is
somebody
great.
out there. Somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. It's like different levels. Like when you go to sleep and dream, then your number like 2 comes out and lives this life. And like
And that's a different reality.
it's a different person and reality. I don't know exactly what it is. It's the most intriguing one to me. Like that is far out there. It's
I hope
it's really
that
funny to listen to somebody
a
believe
lot
it.
of weird shit happens in my dreams. I hope that none of that is another reality. I'd like to just keep it in dreamland.
I think that's the idea. I think it is happening somewhere else. Dream time. Dream time.
What's your favorite tour that you've been on? You must have a favorite.
Favorite tour? Well, I love touring. Favorite? I know there's one. Honestly, I'm not just saying it. Touring with the Sword was really fun. So much that we did it twice. We
They're
didn't want to leave each
badass.
other. Yeah. We had a good time with them. We had I don't know. It's so hard to remember a lot of the tours that we've done at this point. Like I'm forgetting band names and everything. Like I have to like look online sometimes and be like, wait, was that the venue that whatever?
Oh, I do that
Um,
yeah.
um, I don't know. We just always seem to have a really good time. I think what makes a tour really fun or my favorite is just connecting with the other band. No egos, just
Right.
chill. There's been plenty of tours where we've been the super annoying, like, what the fuck are these people doing? We're never touring with them again. Can we like cut it short? Like, just get away from us, Royal Thunder. Like, and usually when people do that to us, we tend to get more annoying just because we think it's funny. Like,
Right.
oh, you hate us? We're gonna try to be friends with you the whole time. um, yeah, but yeah, just if you click with a band, have a good time. I think those are my favorites, and that's the last band I remember really feeling that way about.
Right. Do you have a favorite place to play?
Oh, St. Vitus in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Easy, yeah. Always cool people, cool venue, just the best people. I love playing there.
The room is tight enough in there that like yeah, I've seen some good shows there.
Oh yeah.
I've never played there.
Oh, it's so fun. It feels like you're just everyone's here
Yeah.
and you just in it.
Yeah, it's weird. I moved to New York 5.5 years ago, almost 6 years ago, and I haven't played heavy music since. I started doing this thing a couple years ago, just sort of like by accident, right?
I'm about to plug my phone in. Sorry to interrupt
Oh
you.
yeah, cool. I hope that I can, maybe play music again sometime soon. But
Oh, you will.
oh sure. Well, I mean, I live, a few hours out. Actually, there are a lot of musicians up here near where I live. It's interesting, actually.
Huh. Like playing the kind of music you like to play, or
Well, do you know that band, the 108? They're like a Krishna core band.
Christian core? No,
Kri-
Krishna core?
yeah.
No,
They're like a
never heard of
hardcore band. They're Krishnas. They are Krishnas. And
Huh.
they're like their bass player, or she plays guitar. She's like my neighbor. There's a pretty interesting community here. But yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. You jammed with people out there?
Fuck no. It's weird. Yeah, it's super weird. I want to do this 2 bass band. I have this idea to just be like a drummer and 2 bassists. I've
seen that before.
Really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. I can't remember who did it, but yeah.
He's got to, I mean, yeah. What was the band? Was Carp just a 2-piece? Do you remember Carp?
Uh-huh.
I think they may have been a 2-piece.
Sorry, I'd be the old switch here.
Oh, that's all right.
Go in.
They may have been.
Can you hear me still? I'm sorry.
I can, yeah. There we go. Oh, you're going modern.
Oh boy. Yo, can you still hear me?
I can. I hear you great.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. No, you're
okay.
fine.
You hear me?
Yeah, great.
Nothing?
No, it's great.
You got it?
Yeah. You can hear me okay? Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
You got it? Okay. Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Are we back in business?
Man. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So what's your day-to-day like right now? You're working.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great.
Work. Yeah, it's pretty much just work, motorcycles, art, and try to stay home, just relax, and spend time with my partner and wait. Try to, the art thing pretty big for me lately, just wanting to stay in touch with that, with playing music and doing something artistic every day.
When you say art, you mean visual
kind
art?
Of boring. Yeah. Like painting, and I've been working with resin and doing like cutting boards and coasters and chess pieces and stuff like that.
Oh, rad.
Just something new. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So doing that. Planning motorcycle trips. And
tell me about your motorcycle relationship. What kind of bike do you have?
I'm actually probably getting a new bike tomorrow. The Harley 1200 Sportster.
Rad.
But I currently have, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Currently have a Suzuki Marauder, but it's so fucked all the time. That's like it's gonna get a bike that actually runs. I don't have to worry about that. I can travel on.
Right.
Because we're doing this big, great American trip. Me and my partner are gonna do a trip. It'll be like a 14-day ride up to Washington and see the fireworks on 4th of July, and then just visit all of our friends up north. We can even stop by and see you. But yeah, we're gonna cruise around.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I miss having a bike. I sold my bike when I moved to Brooklyn, and now that I don't live there anymore, I'm like, all right, I need to get another bike, but that's a lot of cake. I gotta build a
Yeah,
studio.
that's pretty important.
Are you gonna dress this 1200 up? I went full
Uh,
granddad. I like had a fairing on my road. I had bought a cop bike, like a Road King police. What is it called? It was a cop bike. It was, and I just basically redid the whole thing, replaced all the everything. So it
yeah, that's cool.
looked like a street glide, and it was amazing for road trips, camping trips, all that.
Comfy, lots of storage and shit.
It was granddad style. I was riding vintage
Yeah.
BMWs before that, and you know, it was great. I could cruise down to Portland from Seattle at 90 miles an hour or whatever and be fine. But I'd have to stop every 45 minutes because my hips would be cramping up because of the position I was sitting in. That's a
Yeah.
great around town thing or a bar hopper, but um, yeah,
Or I'm in a great.
yeah, and it was a vintage bike, so it wasn't like it wasn't like a sport bike or whatever. It was like a R5, 500cc bike also. So, but they got those fucking drum brakes on them. I'm not trying to trust my life with some drum brakes.
Yeah.
Do you wrench your bike?
No, like rent it out or
You work on your
rent?
bike? Wrench.
Oh, rent. I thought you said rent. I'm like, no. Um, I definitely I've put in a stator, a regulator, changed the oil. I broke a clutch one time and started to repair it and just got mad at it and just destroyed it. Just changes spark plugs, stuff like that, just pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of my friends ride. This is a big like riding neighborhood, so to speak. So everybody kind of helps. I was like,
Uh-oh, you're freezing up.
oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Did your phone die?
Yeah, it was plugged into the wall. It was just, I was like, oh my.
No, the worst is when you plug your, I have all these shitty old cables. Here's the thing, these fucking things, like the plasticky white ones, these things will get so that the little wires and fibers are hanging out and they'll still work. You buy one of those new ones that are, they look fancy. They look like a fucking Pendleton shirt or whatever. And these fucking things, you like look at them wrong and they stop working. Everything will be plugged in. You plug your phone in, you set it over there for a couple hours, you come back and it's like dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my phone plugged into a nice one this morning. I woke up and it was at like 40 something percent. Like, that doesn't really work.
Let's see. I got this thing happen. Everything's happening again. Good deal. I don't. Oh, we were talking motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't wrench my. I mean, I don't. I put body parts on fenders and shit, but like I'm not trying to fuck with especially the brakes. I'm not fucking with brakes. Like if I won't roll, that's fine, but if I don't stop, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, my family in Spain, most people in Europe get around on motorcycles, so that was kind of my first experience as a kid on a motorcycle, was on the back of my tia's bike, just bebopping around town.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. So you grew up traveling back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Every summer since I was a baby.
Oh, that's great.
We would go, and until I was maybe high school was when we after we graduated and moved out and stuff. That's kind of when we stopped.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was just visiting on our own time. But I keep up with them on Messenger.
Yeah. Do you think that traveling out of the country as a kid helped the way you see America? I mean, surely it affected the way you live here, but a lot of people don't grow up with that experience or grow up traveling at all.
Yeah, it made touring a hell of a lot easier because I just grew up traveling. But I feel like the difference to me, America was very different. It just Europe seemed more relaxed. America seemed more in a hurry.
Yeah.
So whenever I'd come back, it was always just a little more tense over here. Um,
The first place I traveled to outside, well, in Europe, I'd been to Mexico and to Canada. The first intercontinental trip I ever took was to go tour Spain, and I was blown away. And it's a great entry point
it
into
was
Europe because it's so much it's so much different than the rest of Europe, right?
uh-huh.
Although I've never been to Portugal, but it's very relaxed. Like people were triple parked in the middle of Barcelona and no one was flipping out. Can you imagine that in New York or Chicago or LA?
Yeah.
Like
I don't have I've seen that shit.
there'd be road rage.
Yeah.
People would lose their shit. Even at gigs, right? You're like, "Hey, what time sound check?" And they're like, "You know, when it happens."
Yeah.
What's
Food in the
yeah.
time. Here, go lay down in that bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is a lot. Good stuff.
Was your household relaxed in that way? Like, did your mom's? No.
Oh, no, my house was always it was very very tense. I had one of those houses where I'd come home off the bus, and the first thing I'd do was stretch my neck out as far as I could to see around the house to see if my dad's car was there. Because my dad was always, you couldn't read him. He just like, oh God, is he in a good mood or a bad mood? Did my teacher call him? Does he know what I have a fucking F right now? Like it was just always.
Right.
And I was a pretty weird little kid, which reminds me of this funny Nirvana story. If you don't mind me telling it.
I'd love to hear it.
I had this is why my dad was always pissed at me because I was always pulling shit like this. But uh I had this diary and it was about my heroin addiction. But I didn't actually have a heroin addiction because I was like, 13 years old. So I wrote all about it and how much I was going through and the withdrawals and all my struggles and money and stuff like that. And then I would take safety pins and I'd scratch my skin like on my veins. And then I'd take pens and draw like lines on my arms and I'd go to school and like sit at the desk like this and lie out. And I just wanted to be like Kurt Cobain. I'm like, I have heroin problems too. And my dad found that journal one time. And he came downstairs and I was trying to go to this party and he's like, you're not going anywhere. And he slammed the journal down on the table. And he's like, the only place you're going is rehab. And it took me forever to convince him that I didn't actually have a heroin addiction. And then my dad was like, well, prove it to me and pull up your sleeves. And of course I had that shit on my arms and got in so much trouble. So he was always had, eyes on the back of his head for me. So it was pretty tense and I rebelled a lot. I didn't want like I didn't want to be a graphic designer or whatever he wanted me to be. So yeah, kind of tense. And as far as like European customs and like traditions and stuff like that, my mom kind of set all that aside to be, American.
Right. What a crazy transition she must have had.
Yeah. She rolled with it though. She's a tough woman.
So I don't know if you just threw graphic designer out there or if that if that was a reference to you always being artistically inclined and your dad recognizing that, but was that something that you had entertained as a young person?
No, that was just kind of his idea of like, well, if you're artistic, then you should do this and make money and be normal.
Right.
To do is be in a band.
Right.
So
Did he come around? Did he ever appreciate that you wanted to pursue a life in music?
I think secretly he was proud of me and told other people, but never to my face. No.
Right, that's a weird thing, right?
Yeah. Very I think he just didn't get it. I remember when I first started touring, calling my mom and saying, like, how you doing, Mom? Oh, what are you doing? Like, oh, we're in Tennessee or something. And she'd be like, for what? And I'm like, we're in a band and we're touring. She's like, what are you doing there for? Like, Mom, we're playing in who? Is someone's house? I'm like, no, Mom, we're on. She just never for years understood the whole tour thing.
Right.
So adorable. Just didn't understand why I was in a different place all the time. She's like, is Josh with you? I'm like, yeah, he's in the band, Ma. Just
It's show business, Mom.
She always says she's praying for me that the Lord will change our music to glorify him. She's cute.
Well, that's that's sweet.
It is sweet. Can't get mad at it. I'm like, Mom, could you stop that? Can you stop doing that?
And she's not praying for you to quit playing music.
She wants me to play church music.
Right. I mean, you could play your music in a church.
Sure, we could.
There's some, sometimes there are great all ages shows at churches.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that.
I've spent more time in the basement of churches in the last 5 years
Yep.
than I did upstairs. That's for sure. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Does she still travel back to visit family? Does she still live in the States now that your dad's gone?
Yeah, she went to Spain a couple of years ago with my sister for about 10 days. She just became American citizen like right after that. She changed her name from Maria Rito Otero Abad Parsonz to Rita Parsonz. Name, nothing, MLNY. I just want to be American, and just went for it and got her citizenship.
Wow. How many siblings do you have?
I have a younger sister and an older brother. My brother's like 42. My little sister's 38. I'm very close to my brother.
Yeah.
I love her. I just, she's different lives.
Yeah. She chose a more mainstream path.
Mm-hmm. She does really well, good job, big house, nice things. I'm glad she's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
My brother also doing really well, but he just doesn't really give a shit about all that stuff. He's just wild and weird, and gave me my first Yamaha guitar and Gorilla amp, 60-watt Gorilla amp.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So he
for skateboarding, you take this. Like, all right.
So he thought maybe he was gonna play music, and he was just like, nah.
Yeah, the only thing I've ever seen my brother play is a saxophone, and poorly at that. And that was like when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Not musically inclined. He's always calling me, and he'll be like, that, like at odd hours of the night, do you know that? He'll be like, 911, need you to call me. Serious. Like, fears the shit out of at me, and it'll be 3 a.m. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, you know that riff? It's like, I'm like, don't ever do that to me again, Jason. He's like, oh, well, just, I need to know, it's that riff. It's from the 90s, Mel. And he just starts screaming at me. I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm going. So that's my relationship with my brother. He's like basically my little brother, a little crazy brother in a
You got
lot of
to
ways.
appreciate his enthusiasm.
I do. So, he's like, you ever met, oh God, he's obsessed with like Disturbed, dude. The singer of Disturbed, and like,
The bald guy?
yeah, he's always asked me if I've met him. I'm like, no, I haven't. I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. I think he tries to look like him now that I think about it.
Yeah. Does he have a thing like one of these things?
He has in the past, not right now. No.
But I mean, the Disturbed guy, is he one of the braided?
Oh yeah. I think he is the pointy one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did he do the Sound of Silence? Is he that guy? He's kind of a relatively renowned sort of operatic metal singer. Is that true?
I've heard that song. I don't know if it's him. Actually, that voice is really pretty. Whoever's singing it on that song.
Yeah. There's a lot of like stuff that was like post 90s heavy rock music that I never got into because I was trying to cleanse myself of popular music in the 90s, and so I just went on this crazy tangent of listening to like thrift store records and just a bunch of random crap and free jazz, and I was trying to be art, I was trying to purge myself of the white snake that was in me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, because white snake's pretty killer.
Well, I'm a sucker for that stuff, like Wasp and shit. Like, oh, how could you live in a world without that?
I saw Wasp open.
What's that?
I saw Wasp open for Kiss.
Oh, really? I love Kiss too.
The Last Command tour. It was the Kiss. It wasn't Kiss's finest moment, I'll tell you that. It was a no makeup era. And there's some good there's some good songs, but not probably really on that record.
Yeah.
What are your other, do you have guilty pleasures? I don't really believe in guilt all that much, but guilty pleasure is a term.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, and I feel the same way you do about it. Shit, I don't know. I'm not afraid of anybody judging me liking something that I look. Is it bad to like Lady Gaga? Like, is that guilt?
No, shit, no, like that. No, I think she's killer.
Yeah, I really respect the moves that she makes. I think she's pretty amazing. I guess my thinking is like, what would surprise you that I listen to that you wouldn't think? Well, it's not that I listen to her. I just pay attention and I get down when her music comes on.
Right.
Album front to back, haven't done it yet, but
yeah, me neither.
But very talented, and I appreciate that.
What about have you ever considered making a solo record? Maybe that's an odd question.
No, I have. I have a really hard time doing something solo. It intimidates the shit out of me because a lot of the music that I make by myself is very quiet and stripped down and gentle and like stories and stuff like that. And I've always kind of told myself, like, I don't know, man, I need my Roll Thunder to like feel like myself and know what I'm doing. I'd have to learn who that person is, and I've done it in secret, but it's just feels so vulnerable. And it is something this year, I say it every year, but like, I just need to fucking do it. I just need to fucking do it. Need to do it. And I've done little things here and there, but like released a little single or whatnot. But those singles still aren't who I am. Still finding myself in the solo stuff.
Do you think that would so those would be like acoustic guitar songs?
Piano. I love doing piano and singing.
So what is the writing process like in Royal Thunder?
It's we get in a room. Josh usually starts jamming something, and then Evan and I just kind of follow, and it turns into this whole. And we just keep playing and playing and playing and playing that song over and over again, and then it turns into something. I usually don't write lyrics until I get into the studio.
Is that right?
Yeah, and
What
once everything.
melodies?
What's that?
You write melodies while you guys are jamming and working out arrangements?
No, I wait till it's all the music's done. I wait till everything's done, all the bells and whistles, and then I sit with it. Some songs I've taken an acoustic guitar and played along to them, like what I would sing, but I usually just sit there and get really quiet. And Joey, or the guy that has done most of our albums, the producer Joey Jones, he's the most patient dude in the world because he's the only dude I know that can sit there and listen to the same song. I'm like, just this chorus for like 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, I think I got something. And I'll go in there. And then I'll build off that melody. And then once I kind of like hum out the melodies, I'll go back and be like, what is this song saying? And then words will just start kind of.
So it's interesting to me because you have to really split your brain up once you go back to relearn the songs after you've tracked the bass line separate from the vocals. You have to learn how to sing it and play it at the same time because at that point you've never done it before.
Yeah, and sometimes I shoot myself in the foot with that. I'm like, oh, because this is doing this and but I just try not to think about it. Just do it. Just do it, and it's worked so far. So sometimes
What have been the most challenging moments in that? And so every record, same, like every record, same way, vocals, melodies and vocals after music.
Yep, always the last thing. Shit, I don't know if I should start thinking about it because.
Well, that's a pretty crazy position to put yourself in consistently. But I mean, after this long, I guess, are you ever thinking ahead? You're like, I shouldn't make this bass line too complicated, or don't do anything right here because this is a transitional part. I'll probably be singing here. Are you ever thinking that far ahead?
No, the only like when I do vocals, the only time we ever change anything because they give me a lot. Josh and Evan just trust me and I trust them. We just let each other do whatever.
Yeah.
But they sometimes they'll be like, don't stomp all over us. Like you don't have to sing all because I used to be really bad about like, oh shit, there's something that needs a melody. And I'd just sing over everything and like you don't have to do that. Like you can let the song breathe a little. Other than that, just how we've always done it.
It's an interesting front person lead vocalist position that you have carved out.
I guess so. But I like it. I like it that way.
No, it's incredible. I mean, it works incredibly well. Your band and everything about the way the songs are presented as finished, completed songs is incredible. But it would never occur to me the process that you just described. It's great. I can't wait to see you guys play live.
Yeah, that's like where our heart's at. We love playing live. It's that's where it's at.
Yeah, of
As you,
course. Of
yeah.
course. It's it's almost like when you find a band that you're really into and they've got one record, they're a new band,
Mhm.
uh and you're just like, fuck, when are they going to put out some more stuff? Discovering Royal Thunder, being introduced to Royal Thunder is like, I don't have to deal with that. It's great.
Yeah,
I got a catalog that I can tap into at this point.
yeah. It's crazy. Been a lot of time.
Um, I'm super pumped about that you just like immediately jumped into the song that we're going to do this video for.
Oh yeah,
Have you
it's
been working on that at all?
a little bit on the bass
Yeah.
since sent that awesome bass. Like really stoked on it.
Oh yeah, no, Scott's the best.
Yeah.
Um, I'm super excited that those other two guys, I worked with them before, and I mean JP is that guy's incredible, and they're both super cool and super humble, and I can see why you guys all get along so well.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Um. So yeah, I mean, thank you again for jumping in. It's gonna be a fun one. I should have the stems over to you very soon.
Cool. Yeah, the vocal layering I think is gonna be really fun.
I think so we'll treat it like I want to be careful because I don't want to talk about the details and I'll go through and I'll chop a lot of this up. But um Kyle and I'll sing harmonies at the top, right? And all those like those breaks. There's a lot of shit going on in the song. It'll and some of it is gonna be, we'll have our own spin on it for sure.
Yeah.
But I typically don't give a bunch of tight direction. I'm like, here's the song, be, be aggressive with it or whatever. Be however you want with it. Like make it your own. That's what I always want to do. But I do think that for this song, the top of it should be relatively, you know, a relative reproduction of the original. And after that, all bets are off. I think Kyle and I are going to do some guitar solo duels, which I'm really excited about.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, I think that top is such an iconic part.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, it'll be great. And like your voice hanging out there at the top by itself is going to be.
I'm excited just talking about it.
Um, well, listen, I really appreciate. I'm sorry we had some technical stuff in the middle, but I really appreciate you giving me your Saturday morning.
Hell yeah, man.
Uh,
I wasn't on all cylinders, but hopefully got some stuff out of it.
I think so. I think you know, if you guys do make it up this far, you should most certainly swing by on your bikes.
Hell yeah.
Or if you go somewhere I'm not that far from Woodstock, and it's great riding over there. Although I think you're not far from really great riding, but there's a lot of great, country hill rides here.
Yeah.
The Poconos and across the river too. Look at that old dog. Well,
Appreciate
thanks.
you giving me time too, man.
What's that?
I appreciate you giving me your time too. I know getting up early and doing that's probably well,
Oh,
maybe you're
I wake up at like 6:30 or 7 without an alarm.
yeah.
That's no alarm me. That's part of being old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks again. I really appreciate it. I had a great time learning about you.
Well,
And what
thanks, man.
I think I mean, you have a really interesting story. I feel like feel like I could probably ask you 2 hours worth of questions, two more hours worth of questions. But I don't like. There's a lot of stuff like, it's always weird. Like I'm intrigued by so much of your story, but this is the first time we've ever really talked. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to drag up a bunch of stuff that you probably, you know, maybe don't want to put behind you, but like recognize it's part of your past and just move on. I don't know.
Yeah. I ain't worried about it. I'm pretty past worried about not trying to conceal too much about my life where
Yeah.
I've been. Think it's kind of better to just be open and be real, and it helps people, you know.
Amen.
Amen.
Listen, have a really great weekend, and
You man.
I'll get you some stems to record to soon.
Sweet. I'll send you pics of the bike that I think I'm getting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What year is it?
I think it'll be the 2012 Sportster. It's got like a little less than 10,000 miles on it, but
Oh, that's great.
yeah. But
Well, have fun on that thing.
I will. Too much fun.
You guys have a helmet law down in Georgia?
We do.
Yeah. I think I would, even if I lived in a no helmet state, I would still wear one. I think Connecticut is a no helmet state. I just don't want to, you know, if I hit the pavement, I just want to I don't want to have to live in a bed
Yeah. Ugh.
or
Rough.
or eat through a straw or anything. You know?
Yeah. Over a helmet.
Yeah. So, yeah, keep it between the ditches.
Right on.
Have a good time.
All right.
Bye.
Good talk. Thank you. Bye.